right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another episode of Philosopher King podcast. So, um, today, so first of all, remember phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. You'll find not only Philosopher King podcast, but you'll find the pick is in. You'll find the phone booth podcast itself. You'll find Here's the Thing podcast by Snoop. You'll find so many others that you've grown to know and love over the years. Now, also on Saturday nights, don't forget we have the live stream with the whole phone booth crew, all four of us, and it's always a blast. So please remember, spend your Saturdays with us. We have a blast. Now, I'm very honored to have join me this evening Heywood Zalmanac, who you probably know from he's been with us at the Phone Booth podcast, been part of the family for a long time. But he and I have had the Pick Is In podcast where every Saturday after the mainstream with the boys, he and I go live and give some great picks. He's just a stellar dude, a good guy, really pure heart, just a very sincere and authentic guy. And I've always enjoyed every interaction I've had with him. So here's a conversation I'd like to welcome you guys to here with Heywood Zalmanac. Heywood, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Jonah?
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. How you doing, brother?
Thanks for coming on the show, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing really well. I'm honored to be here, man. I am honored to be here. Been looking forward to this. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you, sir. I don't know. So it's funny, like before we started going on here, we were talking about what a crazy time it is to be alive. I was actually talking to my mom this afternoon or this evening about that as well. Like, it's a crazy time to be alive, you know?
It is.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, like, I know a lot of people, you're always in the comments. You're always promoting Phone Booth. You're always promoting and like always supporting all of us. You and I have our show on Saturdays. Maybe give like a little bit of who are to the people who get to know you a little bit more. I know you went on the Phone Booth podcast as well, right? Already. So most people already probably know you to some degree, but to those who aren't as familiar.
Yeah. I'll give it an intro. Basically, never done the social media thing till earlier this year. My boy Snoop Von Poop trying to push me and just trying to evolve with my sports brand and other things I have that's going on, to expose and give to the world. So, I've been a sports junkie my whole life. I have other stuff as well. As you guys seen on Phone Booth podcast, I experienced the Phoenix flight. So there's another side of me living out in Arizona. But started earlier this year, then connected with you guys over the summer. And
And I think you and I first geeked out together over the earthquake prediction guys who were kind of calling ahead of time all these quakes that were happening, and then the crazy weather patterns. And
yeah, I forget what that, like our first interaction was like some natural disaster, and like me and you were going back and forth on post, and like that post got like 15,000 views. That's crazy, but like that was like our first interaction. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then there was that there's I can't remember his name for some reason.
I know you're talking about the earthquake guy.
Yeah.
And like he was right, that Alaskan earthquake, I believe, right? And then a tsunami that was headed to Hawaii. I think that was it.
Yeah. Dutch and Sense.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though, because he's gotten so good at this disaster prediction that he's like, if I'm not within a few days and 200 miles of the epicenter of the quake and within like 2 or 3 degrees of magnitude, he's like, I consider it a miss, and he doesn't miss very often.
He doesn't. You're totally right. You lean me on him, and he's been really right. I got a notice on for him. Actually, I think he just posted something yesterday saying that he gave Southern California a 90% chance for a 6.5 or more the next 2 days. So, yeah.
He's a good guy to watch. And then there's the Canadian earthquake prepper guy who I think, but Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
yeah. But met up with you guys over the summer, and we connected, and got brought in the phone booth. We have a show we do every Saturday night, which is fun. So grateful to be here, and yeah, that it was the Hawaii tsunami. That was our first. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That was interesting. Um, well, so then, all right. So I know you're big into sports and stuff. I know that's a huge passion of yours. Um, but we were also just talking before. I don't know. There's so much going on in the world right now, and like I know since probably 3 to 6 months ago is when I've been watching Iran a lot closer because it looked like there was going to be a regime change back when the whole bombing happened, and there was the whole cruise missile sent in from I country and all that other stuff, and it seemed like there might have been at least the ground might have been a regime change then, but at least the groundwork was set for the regime change,
right,
right?
right.
But it seems like that's what's actually happening now.
It's crazy. We do live in a wild time right now, especially the last 12 to 24 hours. If you're into the news, all the stuff that's going on, that's probably not being pushed mainstream as much as it should. But my first Saturday live stream watching you guys was when we bombed Iran. I broke the news on the comments about the
Oh,
stealth
that's
bombers.
right.
About the stealth
That's
bombers.
right.
So my boy is deep in the military. I have a friend out there. He's right off the coast of Iran on a nuclear submarine. He's been watching that area for a while. He was the one that sent the tomahawks to Fordo that day. But we'll get in the. He just sent me something which we briefly talked about, but we'll talk about soon. But yeah, crazy stuff that's going on, especially with stuff going on in Iran. It seems like that's like the center of what is going to expand, and possibly we'll see what happens, man. There's a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of stuff that's been brewing for a while, you know. Um, yeah, no, it's interesting. And I think it's not an accident that this is happening right on the heels of the silver market exploding,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden, for the first time in I don't know how many years, the gold reserves around the world and all the reserve banks, central banks around the world, the gold reserves surpassed the U.S. dollar and now are the primary reserve for the first time in 100 years, maybe.
Right. That's
It's
crazy. You say
wild.
that is wild. That's funny you say that too, because there's a vessel that got caught by Americans today that was had oil and $2 billion worth of silver, apparently, that from Venezuela. That happened today as well. But yeah, the silver's crazy how it is now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I don't know if you saw this yet, but have you seen the map? So obviously it's a little strange. It could seem strange that Greenland, there's that whole play for Greenland right now by the Trump admin, and then now we're boots on the ground in Venezuela.
All right.
Have you ever seen the map of the technocrat, like the American technocratic reign?
I've not. No, sir.
No. Have you seen the map of the Monroe, what they call the Monroe Doctrine?
Heard about it. I don't recall seeing it.
I'll have to pull that up because
Interesting. I would like to see
it's
it.
they're the same map.
Really?
They were drafted almost 100 years from each other, but they're almost the same map.
Hmm. Is it like the Western Hemisphere?
Yeah, so it includes basically the very north piece of South America, all of Central America, all of the US, Canada, Alaska, Greenland. That whole
Hmm.
basically all of the North Americas.
Interesting. What's going on to today's events? You know.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild.
You know.
Um,
I'm not a Trump guy or anything like that. Like I'm not big into politics, but I'll say this: how he took that president out was pretty gangster. It was pretty gangster. Um, but
yeah,
yeah,
what
how he just swooped in, no casualties, in and out, got him in his pajamas.
wasn't he picked up by Spec Ops in the dead
Yeah,
of night?
yeah, him
That's
and his
awesome.
wife, man. And so apparently they've been training for it since the summer. So this is something that's been in the works. I just read about this. They made a complex just for training that mimicked the complex that he was in, mimicked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Trump actually went there for a day to see the training. I just saw that.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And then with the Greenland thing, that's like, we moved a bunch of military in that region recently with what's going on in the Middle East apparently, and what Trump threatened Greenland, didn't he? Threaten him or say he wants to take over that country or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I mean, I think it sounds like he wants to own it, you know?
All right.
I don't know.
I
But what's
saw,
interesting here, check this out. I'll just put it full screen here for a second. This
oh,
Tech Native America.
whoa,
So notice how it includes down here.
dude, parts of
It
Venezuela.
exactly. It includes Venezuela and then all the way up over Alaska and Greenland and Canada.
Whoa.
I mean, it's like exactly what's being consolidated here.
Yeah, right. And then with the recent reports about with Cuba and us threatening them, and it's pretty crazy wild times we're living in right now, man.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of the Q and like the Trump MAGA people and the Q people. Now, I mean, obviously, I was big into Q, as you know, but for those of you who may not know who are watching, um, obviously, I supported him. I don't feel like he's been faithful to what we've supported, but I'm open to being wrong, you know?
Right.
Um, but I mean, honestly, today, have you seen the things? I'll get to the health things that he did in a second,
All
but
right.
I want to,
Do
but
me a
he's been
favor. Don't interrupt. What is Q? I'm so uneducated about
okay.
your guys's. I don't. Tell me what it is. What is?
Yeah.
Do
Well,
we
so
do we have comments, by the way?
in
Sorry.
his first year, just a repost.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is Q?
Um, so in the first year, um, it was October 28th, actually, 2017. So towards the end of the first year of his first term, Q, this character called Q, or it turns out it was a group allegedly, called Q, was posting. It was basically like the largest intel drop in history, and was just basically encouraging people to ask questions, providing clues and breadcrumbs, as they would call them, little data and information for people to follow to discover the truth of different layers of corruption,
Okay.
to expose the deep state, the black hats, as they were called. And oftentimes, there was this huge. Everybody who followed the Q drops was, labeled a conspiracy theory, and then there was that whole smear campaign by the media, which actually just gave it more credibility, because everyone's like, well, wait a minute, if the media is spending prime time to diss QAnon people or followers of Q, then there must be something to it. But anyways, one of the big things is that there have been Q proofs all throughout and ever since Q started dropping, where Q would say that something was coming, and then Trump would tweet about it. And then Q would say, "Hey, watch the next tweet," and Trump would have an odd number of spaces between words, and if you count the spaces in the sentence, they all added. Oh, there were 17 spaces.
17.
Q
Hence your episode. Sorry.
Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, right? So 17 has
Whoa.
always been symbolic for Q. A number of the sporting events, you'll like this. The presidents have always been given their jersey number.
Yes.
Like, so Trump would have been given 45, right?
I'm
But
following you.
very often he was given the number 17 at his request, allegedly.
Ooh. Okay.
So there's a
Whoa.
lot of like things like, and then one time, so one of the anons, that's people who are following Q on 4chan and stuff, said, "Hey, President Trump, I mean, hey Q, to keep us anons to give us reassurance that we're not just dreaming all this up, have the president say tippy top today, please." And then POTUS goes on. Gives his Easter address later that day, and he's standing next to the white rabbit, which Q has always said, follow the white rabbit, follow the white rabbit, standing next to this white rabbit character. And he says, everything here at the White House is in excellent shape. One might even say tippy top shape. Like that
Oh,
just doesn't. It's just there was time and time and time and time again when Air Force One made its surprise visit to North Korea to visit Kim Jong Un at the Rocket Man epic.
right. When he crossed
Um,
the border, shook hands. Right.
when the flight and nobody knew the Air Force One was flying out there at the time. He just showed up. It was a secret flight. But then Q posted a photo out of the window of Air Force One looking down at Hong Kong, which was the flight path. And you could tell by the buildings it was Hong
Whoa.
Kong. And then hours
Whoa.
later, it's announced that Trump is in. So it's just stuff that you couldn't,
Wow.
you
Can't
you
make this up.
can't make it up, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think here's where I'm at. I think you haven't looked honestly at you don't know about it or haven't looked honestly at it if you don't think that Q and Trump, the Trump admin, are working together. I think that's abundantly clear.
Clear. Yes. Right.
That doesn't mean that Q is what it claims to be, is the plan to save the world. Right? It's because the whole alleged psyop, the potential psyop, is the fact that people are saying, okay, well, it has to be this to dethrone the deep state, the black hats, the dark world order is being overthrown. Well, is the world order that's being put in its place a false light? Is it an apparent good that's actually going to be worse for us? Is it a restoration of constitutional rights, but is there going to be a technocratic oppression? Like when you see, so maybe government's going to be a lot smaller in terms of manpower, but maybe it's going to be a lot bigger in terms of all pervasive AI presence, right?
Right.
So it's kind of that's where I don't have the confidence. Operation Freedom in the rise of the Soviet Empire in the Bolshevik Revolution, Operation Freedom was precisely targeted at patriots to keep them literally trusting the plan, just like all the Q followers say. Trust the plan until the plan was so far along, not the plan for their good, but for total domination and control of the country, was so far along that the patriots rising up for Mother Russia at the time wouldn't have, that it was too late. All the centers of control had already been taken. So now is that what's happening here? And the AI centers of control are being established. It kind of feels like that sometimes,
Right.
especially when you see the technocrat map that I just showed you lines up.
Right. Perfectly.
It's like we're
Let's
actually taking steps toward that for the
towards
first
that.
time in
Yeah. Really.
crazy.
So Q's been around. So okay. So it seems abundantly clear they're working together. What is your? Maybe I missed it. What you said. What is the point of Q? What do you think its intentions are?
Well, they call it the Great Awakening. So it's the Q's job is to wake everybody up, and wake everybody up
I'm
to the
learning. Right.
mind control, the deep state corruption,
All the crazy stuff that's going on in the world. Um,
the debt slavery, the medical tyranny. I mean, which leads right into this is where I'm like, every time I'm like, oh man, the technocracy's coming. Then you see like today or this week, the childhood vaccinations were reduced from 72 mandatory vaccines for children down to 11, which is what most European countries have.
that's good.
That's insanely
That's
good.
insane. Wow. We had
And
that
then
many? We had that many? My gosh.
it's ridiculous.
That's
I think
sick.
and I think anybody who
That's
followed the
sick.
recommended vaccination schedule wasn't they're not thinking clearly
Right.
for their kids' health because
That's way too many, man.
it's child abuse.
Yeah.
It's poison, formaldehyde, aluminum. You're poisoning your child.
Right.
Dang, we're not even supposed to give honey, natural honey.
Whoa.
We're not supposed to give it to a baby before they're 1 year old because their immune system can't handle it.
Whoa.
So why are we injecting them with mercury, formaldehyde, and dead fetal cultures? Doesn't make any sense. Anyways,
That's sick. Right.
So they also overturned. They also inverted the food pyramid today. Make America Healthy Again. Robert Kennedy Jr. today announced that they're recommending that people have a lot less grain because the food pyramid is like grains and things on the bottom, carbs and grains on the bottom, and then veggies, and then at the top is meats and
Meats,
fats,
right?
right? Now they've inverted it, so it's meats and fats are the broadest, veggies in the middle, and grains and breads and carbs at the top.
Huh.
It's perfect. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. Yeah.
Anyway, so it seems like there's so many good things happening. So that's where like I'm cautiously optimistic, but I almost feel like I shouldn't be saying optimistic because I don't really feel optimistic. I mean, I'm hopeful slightly at times, but anyways.
Does Q say anything like military world defense? Does it say anything about what's been going on the last week, Venezuela, and all this stuff in the background with the Middle East, Russia, and China right now?
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. Is okay. So there's a couple things. One is the small hat control and manipulation of our country and our media and our government is really out of control, right?
Yeah.
And it's very much like they push a lot of the pornography, a lot of the transgender stuff, a lot of the sexual immorality, just like they did in the Weimar Republic in Germany, right? So there's a lot of, because I mean, it's clever. You got to give it to them. I mean, it's clever. There, in order to destroy a Christian nation, you have to start by attacking the moral fiber of that nation. If you can destroy the family unit, destroy through sexual perversion, you leverage women inside the home to break homes and to subjugate men and to destroy his character and corrupt men. I mean, it's just like the fall of Adam all over again, right?
What better way is TV, right? Media outlet.
Well,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah,
box,
that
this
thing, the
ball,
phone,
this
the
ball
phone.
and chain that
Right.
follows us everywhere, right?
Yep.
So I mean, but just for clarity for anybody watching, I didn't mean to imply by the way I said that women are to blame. I think men are to blame for allowing pornography to be legal, abortion to be legal. I mean, it's men who are to blame for this, and it belongs to men. That's why the Philosopher King podcast is called Philosopher King, not Philosopher Kings and Queens, because I feel like true change in our country has to come from the men, from Christian men in this country. We have to restore the Christian order in our land. We have to submit our families and our towns and our nations to Christ the King.
Totally believe it starts with the male. Yep.
That's where it starts, because if there is no head of the family, how is the family supposed to stay together and be strong if the head of the family is either too weak to keep it together, or too distracted to keep it together, or too vicious to keep it together, and too self-centered? Like it all hinges on men being the men that their families need them to be. So anyways, so that was just a clarity. I'm not trying to say that it's kind of like the Ahab Jezebel thing, right? Like, yes, Jezebel was the voice behind the manipulating hand, but Ahab is the one whose God-given responsibility it was to be a just ruler over the lands that he was given responsibility for by God, right? So anyways, but that subversion Q talks about, to bring it back, to tie it back to your question, has he talked about common events? Well, current events. Well, yes, actually a lot of it, he said, I mean, the Q team said, save Israel for last. Now, it almost seems like
For last,
the Trump admin and Israel are hand in glove. Like it's
right.
It's disturbing when you understand what that means.
Right.
But if they're saving Israel for last, they have to see hand in glove till the end. So it's kind of like we won't know until we know.
We know, right? And we might know sooner than later with everything that's been going on, man, the last couple of days. I told you before we came on, I got a buddy on a nuclear submarine out there. He texted me this morning, and he hasn't texted me in 6 months since the Iran bombing, right? And he goes, shit's about to hit the fan. 12 to, what do you say? 12 to 48, hold on, 12 to 24 hours, Israel, Iran, United States, and right after that is Russia and China. Be aware. And he only tells me stuff that really happens. So I'm kind of fearing what's going on. Maybe it means last. Maybe this is what it's talking about. I don't know. Like you said, we won't know until it comes out. And there's a lot of it is wild times freaking right now. Every time I pull up my feed, because I'm really deep, I like to get into that stuff, what's going on, especially like war and military issues and conflicts, and like, ties in me being a believer in Jesus with revelation, excuse me. But
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy what's going on. Russia flew all their people out of Israel today. There's Delta Force has been seen over there today. We moved like a third of our military naval forces over there in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
Airspaces in Greece, other country, a bunch of other countries. There's a lot of stuff going on. I heard.
And did you see that the rightful Shah, the heir to the throne, not the corrupt Khamenei regime, but the rightful heir to the throne in Iran, he actually made an appeal to all the armed forces to get on the right side of history and pledge allegiance to him.
Wow.
Well, and specifically to the people of Iran.
Wow.
And not to the corrupt regime. And he said, if you do so now is your last chance to do so, and you will be given forgiveness because it's been rough times for everybody,
right,
and you and your families will be protected. But if you turn your guns with this regime, turn your guns against the people, there will be no mercy for you or your families. Was essentially what he was saying.
Right,
I mean, it was very
wow.
It was very decisive. It was.
It could be a very desperate regime too that's throwing that on other people.
Well, remember 6 months ago when we talked on the phone booth about this, on the phone booth live, I had reported that I had discovered through one of the people I follow or whatever, it was that this rightful heir to the throne, this Shah, had flown to DC and met in secret with the Secretary of State and with Donald Trump.
Right before all this stuff happened with Iran bombing with the nuclear facility. Yeah, that's right. Wasn't it like the week before?
Correct.
Or something like that?
That's why I was convinced, if you remember, I was convinced that it wasn't Israel that shot those missiles at Iran, because they look at what they did in Palestine. They just carpet bomb. They don't care. They just completely level city blocks and neighborhoods.
Right.
These were precision strikes into windows of apartment buildings, killing very specific people.
Yep, and very precise. My boy is the one that hit the button and launched 34 Tomahawks.
See, there you go. That proves it. I didn't realize that. But my theory has always been that's our technology to be that precise, and that's our modus operandi is to be. And like I feel like that was Trump's way of de-escalating the situation, because Israel was beating the war drum and was ready to just go all out.
Right.
And Trump is like, let me just decapitate their army.
Right.
And then they will kind of neuter them for a second. And,
picking your head here. I heard a rumor. I'm not sure if it was true or not. Is it true or not true that Israel threatened the United States saying, if you don't do nothing, we're going to use nuclear weapons on Iran, and that's why we did something? Is that true or not?
I believe that they've also said if something happens to us, then we'll have to use, I think that's called they have the Samson option as well, which is that they will attack if they're not defended by the U.S. I think Netanyahu even said, we'll attack you with our nukes. If we're going down, you're coming down with us.
Right. But what I heard is we're going to use nukes if you don't help on Iran. And of course we don't want that.
I think the threat was also implied that they would use nukes on us.
Oh yeah. I'm not a fan of that president over there. I've always told you, he gives me the weebie-jeebies when I watch him speak, and I just I have a sense of people, and I get a horrible feeling every time I see him on TV. I can't pronounce his name, but help me out here.
Netanyahu.
Thank you.
Netanyahu. I always think, a Yahoo is someone who's crazy.
Yahoo.
So it's always
Netanyahu. Yeah, it sounds like a crazy name.
Is just a Yahoo, but but yeah, I mean, it's true, and I mean, here's the thing: if now what we're seeing, it's almost as if they were ready. They had broken the back of the regime in 6 months ago, and it wasn't the right time though to flip the switch. Now, what's interesting is I mentioned earlier the correlation with the silver market,
Yeah.
right? And then also gold overtaking as the reserve currency in banks. So what's interesting is, I mean, gold's not a currency, but you know what I mean.
I know what I mean. And Venezuela has a lot of silver, a lot of
Yes,
tons of it.
yes.
We're one of the biggest in the
Well,
world with it.
and China's been traveling the world buying up off markets refined silver. So just the silver ore before it hits market, so it doesn't affect. They've been
Yep.
buying billions of dollars worth of silver pre-market. Why? Silver is used in technology like solar panels, microchip construction, and warheads.
Yeah.
So if we're going to a war,
Yeah,
they need
yeah, yeah,
silver to
yeah.
do
They
it.
need, yeah, 100%. And that's
So
crazy. They had Chinese, China had diplomats there 3 to 4 hours before we picked up that president. That's crazy.
yeah. Well, okay. So
Was it a
then what's
flex? Was it a flex too? Yeah,
maybe? Well,
yeah.
what's interesting too is that one of the whole subtexts to the Q movement has been this whole concept of Nisara Jasara. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So, Nisara, it stands for the National Economic Security and Recovery Act, Nisara.
Okay.
Jasara stands for the Global Economic Security and Recovery Act. So, Nisara Jasara. Well, the idea is that there'll be a complete economic and financial reset and wealth transfer within the U.S. That's the Nasara, and then Jessara will be everywhere else.
Which is starting to
But
happen if a little bit, right?
yes,
The
right.
silver, the things economically around the world, the taxes for us in the United States that Trump just announced, like other things, there's just like a big picture of it.
Well, what's interesting too is because you have so much oil underneath in the Middle East, right? But now all of a sudden, Venezuela has the greatest reserves. We have amongst the greatest reserves. So it's almost like by us taking Venezuela and Greenland into the American fold and Canada as well, all of a sudden Nasara Jasara doesn't seem like such an imbalanced
Right. Right.
couplet, right? Because in my head, it always kind of didn't make complete. There was a head scratcher for me, the fact that um, the fact that it was just north of just a part of North America, and then the rest of the entire world. It makes much more sense that territory and resources, because Canada's vast in its natural
Right.
resources.
Right.
So it's interesting.
So
I
you
mean,
had you had two maps that was 100 years apart, right? You showed one, right, and you said the second one is identical. Like,
yeah, it looks almost the
wow,
same.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy.
and that yeah. So I mean, it's it's interesting. And look, I don't know. Uh, I don't know what to say. I don't know if Nassar Jassar is a real thing. Um, is there going to be a wealth transfer? I certainly hope so. I mean, I think that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
this
Is that
country's
part
suffering
of
from it. Yeah,
is it going to be kind of a non sequitur? Like, who cares? Because we're going to be under technocratic domination, and we're not going to be able to buy or sell without the mark. Maybe, like I
right,
don't
right.
know, who knows? I mean, that's the thing. You had mentioned earlier, as things start to heat up around the world, right? Things get a little scary. Um, I've been saying for a long time, and I'm still expecting a false flag of epic proportions on the U.S., like something we've never seen before, like a nuclear weapon in New York, like a suitcase nuke or something like that, like a tactical, not like a huge, but like it's some kind of a tactical nuke. The reason I think that's going
It's
to
funny you
happen is because
say that's okay. Yeah, that's funny you say that. The Doomsday plane was flying around NYC yesterday. That's funny you say that.
interesting.
Anyway,
Well, so part of the reason I think because they need, just like 9/11, just like all those other, they need a catalyst, just like Pearl Harbor. Whether or not one thinks that the U.S. planned it, you
Right.
know,
Right.
that's a secondary thing. That's a step further. But we know for sure that they knew about it and allowed it to happen in order to fire up the American people. That's in all the history books, right? Or a lot of them, anyways. So, but like I guess what I'm saying is like, are we going to know about something coming and not stop it in order to galvanize a very divided republic right now? You know, possibly. Uh, Nick Wilcox in this stream here. What's up, Nick?
Ha!
Um, he's saying we're going to pay for doing this move. Are you talking about
What's up, Nick?
Venezuela? Nick, are you talking about Venezuela, or are you talking about are you talking about the move in Iran, or what are you referring to?
Holy corn. Nick
Um,
Wilcox.
yeah, thanks for joining us, buddy. And Snoop repost, thanks, buddy. And Manny reposted the stream as well. Appreciate you, brother. And Laz reposted the stream. Appreciate you, sir. So yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. Like, I don't know here, but going back to like this whole thing of fear, right? That's the beautiful thing about, as you mentioned earlier on, you and I are both Christian, right? So we both appreciate the Bible for being the revealed word. And we know how the story ends. We know that it's going to get to a point where there's a mark and nobody can buy or sell without it. And then we know that our Lord's going to return, right? So it's like, okay, it's going to be between now and then, it's going to be tough, but we don't need to get despaired because all the pieces are aligning in the direction of global domination. We were told that's going to happen in the form of total currency control. We were told that was going to happen in the form of persecution, even quiet persecution of Christians. We were told that was going to happen.
Right.
Suppression of truth, inversion of reality, calling good evil and evil good. Well, we're kind of already seeing that, but we were told that was going to happen.
Right.
We're also told how the story ends, and it's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it helps me, maintain peace through the chaos,
The chaos. Yes.
apparent chaos.
And that's great you say that. People need to hear that, especially as Christians. You don't want to live in the fears. We can do that in our human self, but in the big picture, you believe, you do the right thing, you're going to be in the right place.
Somebody told me during the whole COVID years, I think it was Owen Benjamin actually, who said on one of his streams at one point, he said, more deadly than any alleged virus or pandemic or anything is fear. You have enough adrenaline and other hormones and chemicals in your body that given enough fear, you'll drop dead right now, or you'll get sick right now.
Right.
So it's like the most healthiest thing we can do is turn off the TV and not be stressing about things that are out of our control.
And the phone, that's a big thing. That's a hard thing just to even put down for a few minutes, sometimes, but yeah, don't live in it. Totally.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's important, to appreciate that. Like, I mean, look, wasn't it who mentioned it the other day? But like the Amish, who are completely isolated from technology, none of them got COVID
None of them.
because they weren't afraid or scared into it.
Their studies show that they live longer lives than most other humans in America because the way they live, what they put in their body, mental health and happiness. I've heard a lot of good things about their. I've never met a Amish person that's not happy. I've met a
Good
couple.
night, Snoop.
What's up, Snoop?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
We went. I worked for Camping World, and most of the RVs in the industry are made by the Amish in the Midwest. So as part of my training, I had to go out there and learn the warehouse, learn how it's the production line is, and it's all Amish people. It was a trip. It was a slap in the face to us people that live outside the world. It'd be like they were just focused. They were smiling while they were working, respectful as heck, like respectful. Like I'm walking the line like 10 feet from a guy. he stops what he's doing. He puts a huge thing down, goes and gets the door, shakes my hand, like totally respectful, just good people. Like, they don't live in the world that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. There's a refreshing beauty to that simplicity, And it's like a lot of the things we talk about with the phone booth boys, it's like the enemy, we talk about this indirectly with them, but we talk about how we're more and more separated from nature as the generations roll on. So
100%.
people don't even touch grass for most of their lives anymore.
100%.
Our shoes are insulated, our cars are insulated, we walk on concrete, our air is polluted or filtered or like
Is this really how we're supposed to live? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I mean, how did God make us, and why did he make us the way he made us, So, I mean,
it's pretty crazy how what we're talking about, it's all part of like not living in your fears with what you read and see, believing and having that faith and knowing everything's going to be fine, and then seeing what's developing in the world with all this other stuff and what we've been taught. A lot of it's not been true, non-religiously. A lot of the stuff I had to relearn, from what I was taught in grade school. I mean, we all know that it wasn't Christopher Columbus found America. Do we really land on the moon? Other things like that, like what we've been taught. I mean, I've been taught that Germany Nazi with Adolf Hitler died in a bunker, and come to find out, there was 300,000 Germans that lived in Argentina for 60 years afterwards.
And he was there, and to this day there are schools, grade schools and middle schools named after him.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. One of my favorite, Hunting Hitler, it was a Tim Kennedy documentary
on History Channel.
That was awesome.
Yes, sir. That was great.
That was a great documentary.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
And it's great because they what's great about that is because a lot of people have like an emotional trigger reaction when they hear you question the veracity of the history of World War II. And part of that is because if you look on a map, there's literally a Holocaust museum in every major city across the country, if not the world, right? At least in our country.
Right.
And so that's like, okay, when somebody questions the narrative of what happened there, nobody's condoning genocide.
Right.
But what was interesting about the Hunting Hitler channel is whether they intended to or not, what they were doing is challenging the veracity of the story without even touching the question of whether or not there was a Holocaust of 6 million or not, right? It was just the question of, did he actually die there or did he escape?
Right. It's pretty fascinating that what they find, with the Catholic Church, how he, through the tunnels, they helped him, how he was in subs that, already went. That's just pretty fascinating. About the point of the beginning of this conversation was like just what we've been taught, non-religiously, like as human beings. So a lot of it you really have to look at differently and learn what's right and what's wrong and what really happened as you get older.
Yeah, no, it's true. And after reflection, sometimes you come to the conclusion that, what we were taught did happen,
Right.
Sometimes though, you realize that it's not how we were told.
Yeah.
Cram de la Cram reposted the stream. Thanks, Cram. I touched grass today. He said it felt good. Good for you, man.
That is a good thing.
Show off. So,
did Nick ever respond to your question about what he's
he
talking
hasn't
about?
yet.
Okay,
no.
Maybe he just popped in. That's pretty cool. He popped in.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's interesting. It's important to try to sift through the lies but also to not be too wrapped up in.
Not to be wrapped up. Yes, you want to be, but don't, because in the bigger picture, if you're fine with the man upstairs, you're going to be fine. So,
yeah,
amen to that.
And it's a question of, okay, are the end times coming? Probably most generations of Christians from
I
the very
think that.
beginning thought that they were in the end times. So are we just yet another generation that thinks that the end is going to be in their time?
Right.
Possibly.
And I've been
But
a
you know
part of
what?
that.
Yeah, but you know what? The day my heart stops, that's my end time.
Yep.
I'm going to stand face to face before our Lord, and they have to render an account. I'm gonna have to explain. I'm gonna have to ask myself for forgiveness. Honestly, that's gonna be that's about it. Mercy, Lord, mercy. You know, that's pretty much all there is to it for me. There's no explaining
Yeah.
necessary at all.
I
Just
can't.
sorry.
I honestly cannot wait. Not saying I'm like wanting it, but I can't wait for that day. So I see the gates of heaven and see all my family I've lost and see Jesus and just
Yeah,
not living this human life that we're not. I don't think we're supposed to live like this, how most humans do. So,
yeah, it's true.
I can't wait. Can't wait.
It's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And loss is tough, man. And actually, that's the thing to me. Even Aristotle, okay, back to Philosopher King. Even Aristotle touched on this because he said, by philosophically, we know that because we have immaterial ideas and can have immaterial thoughts and not understanding of immaterial things, that our intellect or our soul, whatever that is that can understand those things, has to survive beyond the matter because those things are immutable and undieable, like unperishable, those ideas. So he basically came to the conclusion, look, the human soul continues to live on after the death of the body.
Yep.
But then he's like, I don't know what to do with that because it seems unreasonable to say then that we spend the rest of eternity in a state of violence where because the human person is meant to be united with our body. We're body and soul by nature. So he's like, I don't know the answer to this. And that was it. He was stuck there. But through revelation and through, Christ showed us he rose from the dead. He rose other patriarchs dead. If you remember after his resurrection, like there were others who rose from the dead and people saw them walking around the city before they were taken up. Like it happened.
Happened. Mm-hmm.
Like he overcame death and showed the people, which is why a vast majority of the Jews at the time converted, right? So that's the only thing that actually makes sense,
All right.
So
That's kind of crazy that he was stuck on that. You know.
what's cool is that he understood. He was able to understand scientifically and with confidence. Like there was no question. He knew with certainty that the human soul outlives the body, continues on. It's immortal. But he also, and so then it raised a question that he couldn't answer. And it's just fascinating that he thought to ask the question, but that he was also honest enough that he didn't say, oh, well, we must migrate into new bodies and reincarnate. He didn't claim such a silly stretch, right? He just rested in the discomfort. That's so wise to be able to rest in the discomfort of not knowing. I love
Very,
that.
very wise. Very wise. Yes.
As young men, I feel like a mentor of mine years ago said to me, beware of the fallacy of the urgent.
Okay.
If something feels urgent, like you need to say something, you need to send a text now, you need to respond an email now, you need to call that person to have a conversation now, you need to now, urgent, that, he said, just sit with it. Almost never, obviously there's rare exceptions, but almost never is that sense of urgency actually legitimate. Like as a young boy, when we're first dating, when you're a kid, and you think, you had kind of an awkward or rough end to a conversation. You think she's never going to want to talk to me again.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
my life is over. Like it's all
Right.
like
It's our own
end of
brain.
the world, right? End of the relationship. You have a run-in with a buddy, and you blast it out angry at each other, yelling at each other, and you walk away and you're like, I'm never going to see him again. And next day it's like old hat, but you
Right.
spent the rest of that evening thinking you just lost
Right.
your best friend,
Right.
like, yeah, it's funny. So I really appreciate that perspective of, being aware of the fallacy of the urgent, being patient. I know one of the biggest mistakes in my life I made because I wasn't patient. And
Does that come with age and life experiences and bettering your mind? Does that come with,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because even as us older guys, we need to hear that stuff. I feel like I'm a lot more patient now than what I used to be, but at the same time, I'm not. If that makes sense.
Well,
But
yeah, and it's interesting though because you can look at the problems facing uh, a teenage boy or a young 21-year-old man. You can see the struggles that he's facing, and you have that serenity of having been through that and knowing that he's overreacting. But now that your problems are bigger, you don't have the same serenity yet, maybe, for some of the things that you're facing.
right.
Whereas an older man who's already gone through your 40-year-old problems, our 40-year-old problems, right? A 70-year-old man looks at our 40-year-old problems and he's like, you know, you're going to be fine. And
It
we're like,
ain't that bad.
but I don't know, but right.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Right.
It's
Interesting.
but it's
Did you hear?
perspective, right?
Yeah. Not to get off, but to go back to
Yeah,
what we're talking about. What was the very western city in Iran got taken over last night? One of their biggest cities by the
really.
protesters. Yeah, all the policemen hand their guns
Oh yeah,
down.
by the
Uh,
protesters. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, the times we're living in, man, that's just crazy. It's going to be very interesting to see what develops because there's a lot of stuff going on. And here you get it if you track the right stuff. You got to not believe in everything because there is a lot of fake information. But when you turn on like CNN, your local news, you don't hear much about what's going on as much. Maybe other stuff they want to push on you, you know?
yeah.
Like I turned it on just for shits and giggles. What led my local news was the price of freaking gas. Who cares about that right now? Why are they? That's the first story that came on. I was like, all right. I was trying to flip flop through the game, try to find the game on the next channel, but it's just crazy what they push on you, what they don't, and you know, um, being a believer in faith always helps. I think that's like the backbone of everything. No matter what experiences you go through, life can be tough. Your brain can be tough. Like I, I talk to you. I could be open with you about it. Mental health is bothered me off and on. It comes and goes, and thank you for being there when I need to talk. But this thing, if you let it, can control and dominate you in a negative freaking way. Totally right. Totally right. I think that moment after I'm done praying and letting things go is when it's like a monkey off your back and your perspective is always different and better and healthier like right after I do it. So like praying is definitely helping with that. But like this brain, you're right. Human brain, kind of like what you said earlier with your philosopher stuff.
Well, and thoughts beget emotions, emotions beget actions, and actions beget more thoughts. Right? So one advantage that we have over women.
And
Women
there's
are
not
much
many.
more
There's not many.
women are much more heart led. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh,
I think it's
well,
pretty tough to be a woman.
well, I'm saying,
But
go ahead.
but because their hearts and emotional life is so forward in their lives and in their awareness, right? it's almost like the mind is being drug along by the emotions oftentimes. Whereas for men, it's the other way around. It's oftentimes the challenge for men is to engage the emotions and pull the emotions out of the background and live them and allow them to go, right? Usually then but the problem is for men, and the issue of like mental health is because we're not often attentive to our emotions, we let the thoughts just go, and all the while that's leaving a trail of seeds for the emotions, for certain emotions to take roots and to grow. But since we're not paying attention oftentimes, or really sitting in and feeling those emotions that are the result of our thought process, oftentimes we can spin such a thought process up, and then we look down and realize, oh,
Right.
there's a lot of emotion that just hit me now that that's been growing in me for the
Growing on
last
me. Right. It doesn't hit you
period of
initially.
time.
Right. Right. Right.
Or if it does, it's just not paid attention
Right.
to, right? Until you can't not pay attention to it anymore,
Right. What I'm
right?
totally what I meant is like a few minute ago was like you're saying there's one thing we have over women. What I meant is not many. It's tough
Yeah.
getting a woman, so I agree with you there. But yeah, a lot of times you do like just carry it with you, and it doesn't come up till like later. Most men, you know,
Yeah.
and you're right. And
Yeah.
if it comes up initially, we just kind of like move forward. We'll be fine. Oh, I'm bleeding. It's like a cut. I'll be fine. Duct tape. Let's go. You know, like
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's so important to, but you're right. I mean, it's so important for. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen TikToks and other things like that where where they're like, okay, men, who do you go to when you're sad, when you're crushed? And that's why friendships like ours, like with the phone booth boys, like to having guys that you can lean on that are there for you is so key, because guys
You don't
don't
use that
really have.
outlet that we need to have, and it's good to have, and it's good to express your stuff. You know, like example, our friendship, brother. Or we start, began the summer, middle of summer is when we connected. I felt immediate bond with you.
Hmm.
And I just, what was that one day in August when I had a bunch of personal problems? I just called you, bawled, let everything out,
Yeah.
and you prayed with me and you calmed me down. It. Yes, we hold it inside, but it's not good to hold it inside. You got to
Yeah.
not be drama queen and let everything out, but when you need to let out something, vent. It's a good tool to have for you.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. And yeah, I feel like it's an honor to be able to be there for each other,
Yes.
One of my favorite, Simon Sinek talks about like how to be a good friend to each other, and one of the things he says is he was like, I guess he had seen a friend that he hadn't seen in a while, and he's like, how have you been? And they were like, I've really been struggling. He's like, why didn't you call me? It's like, well, I did reach out. And they're like, show me, when did you reach out? And they're like, hey, what are you up to, on text? And he's like, that means nothing to me. You say that all the time to
Right.
me.
Right.
They're like, well, yeah, but you were busy and I didn't want to. And he's like, dude. And so I guess they had read a psychological, this is so cool. They'd read a psychological study that in order for someone to feel companionship and feel like they had spent some quality time with another person and like felt loved, it takes 7 minutes. So they had this phrase for like if you ever need a shoulder to cry and need somebody to just sit in the mud with you, that's what they called it. Because you're not, like, when you called me, you weren't asking for my counsel, you weren't asking me for advice, you just needed somebody there with you to sit in the mud. It's not fun, it's messy, but that's all we need.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a brother there with us in the mud, right? In the
And the thickest things,
the trenches, right?
trenches, right?
And the foxhole, right? Whatever. But anyway, so he said they developed this code, and they'd be like, hey, do you have 7 minutes? And that would be their code to say, hey, I just need someone to sit in mud with me for a couple minutes. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
Snoop, trust the mud.
My name is Mud.
Mud looks very similar to something else there, Snoop.
I trust the mud butt. Is that what it means?
Trust the mud. No, it's great. Yeah, no, I mean, I think true friends are really tough to come by, and I think it's a blessing
100%.
when you find them.
I'm grateful to
So
have you in my tight little inner circle, bro. You are an awesome man, and I'm very blessed that we came across.
I appreciate you, brother. I'm thankful for you as well, and for the other phone booth boys. It's just been a blessing to get to know everybody. Um, and what's interesting is, yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, it's just so key when you're going through things. Like I was just kind of having flashbacks to my lowest low about seven,
Yeah,
8 years ago.
yeah.
Which I implied earlier in the conversation this evening when I said that I was talking to my mom earlier. That this evening, praise God, was the first conversation I had with my mother in 8 years almost.
Ooh,
Yeah. So
yeah. That's awesome.
huge blessing, lots of tears, lots of emotion, but like it's been a really rough go. And it's just, when you can't be close to people you love,
Uh-huh.
and there's a lot of misunderstanding and hurt, and nobody has the courage to let down the fists or let down the anger or let down the walls. It's just a beautiful thing when,
It is. It is.
and there was a while, like that I wasn't sure I'd be I would have the opportunity to reconcile with them before they passed.
Right. And
And
this is all new events. I remember you telling me, behind the scenes, just like what's going on. It's a blessing, and I remember you saying, "I don't even know if I'm going to talk to him before they pass." Because I asked you, I was
yeah,
like, "Hey, is mom and dad in the picture? Are you close to them?" When I was starting to get to know you,
yeah,
and was it your brother you recently connected with, right?
yeah, yeah,
And that's been going great, correct?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
So
then
little
mom,
by little, man, that's beautiful. Yeah. So it's just it's really hopeful too, because as things get crazy in the world, it's nice to see that even what seems irreparably broken can, you know, can
yep,
be can be healed. So
that's awesome.
I mean, there's a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. We've had a
Oh,
conversation,
but yeah, okay,
but it's a
right.
beautiful, huge step in the right direction.
That's beautiful, man. And
So
come, it's beautiful. You gotta love your family, man. Like I have no blood family. They all died the last few years.
yeah,
Like what was it like? I've hit quite a few lows recently. The last couple years. What was it in like a 14-month span? My mom, my dad, my uncle, my best friend, my cousin, uh, a best friend of the family, a divorce on top of that, pets. So like family. It's good that that I'm seeing that with you. When I pray for you, half the time it's for connection with your family. So
yeah,
because I know that's a big deal, and it's been
yeah,
weighing on you. So
yeah. I appreciate that, man. Yeah,
yeah. Phone booth for life, family booth.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So I don't know anything, but if somebody gets bombed during our stream, that'll be the second time on a phone booth podcast. If they don't mind. Right,
Oh
right,
boy. Oh
right.
boy.
Well, I'm
Hey,
anticipating something. All right,
correlation does not equal causation, people. All right. It's not
100%.
our fault.
That was so it was like what 1 in the morning the other night, and I'm like in the middle of. I hate doing this to Ted, but sometimes when I had a message on my messenger during the night, I'm trying not to do that. But after the text, I'm like, oh, by the way, we just bombed Venezuela and swooped at the president. And he wakes up and he goes, "What the fuck? Really?" And he's like, "It's all over the world, dude." So that's like, it was pretty gangster how we picked him up. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's again until for me until APAC and small head influence is reduced in the country, it's kind of all show. But I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
I do,
So
I do love all the AI videos of like Trump, like dancing with Nadaro, whatever that president's name is.
Yeah.
Like all the AI
Yeah.
stuff. This is pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's one thing I
Okay.
like.
So speaking of AI, I probably shouldn't say this live, but I'm going to say it live.
Uh-oh.
Um, so did you see on the stream when I shared the Ted Logan song that I
Oh yeah.
made?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I got a better version of it. I didn't have premium of the
Oh really?
software yet. So I got
Really?
premium and it's badass. It is so good.
Oh, speaking of
But
real
it
quick, are
got
they?
it got
Go ahead.
it got me it made me an idea. It gave me an idea that the four boys of the phone booth podcast. Snoop, plug your ears if you're listening. Um, so I've got a song picked out for Vince already that I'm going to do a parody for Vince as well. I've got a song picked out for Snoop Von Poop himself, and I'm already working on the parodies for those two. I don't have one picked out for myself yet, although actually it came to me towards the end of the day. I think I do, but then I have one for the four. I have like a song that's going to talk about the phone booth gang,
Oh.
and I'm so excited about
All right.
it. So we're gonna have like a little hit tracks, like
All
our 4 or
right.
5 songs for the Saturday Night Lives. You know,
Brother, we got to make one for the pick is in.
Dude, I was thinking that too today.
We gotta make
We got it. We got to
Dude,
do it.
yeah, that's awesome. If you want, you can't spill the beans. Can't play one. You got one. You can't. Let's wait.
Okay,
Let's wait.
Yeah. I want to wait because I want to reveal it all together.
Yeah, make it magical.
I don't want
Yeah.
Philosopher King to steal the thunder. I want to play it on a live stream with everybody.
Aren't they
get
streaming
everybody's
right
live
now?
reactions. I think they're recording for the phone booth.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's what they're doing.
Right before I came on, I got a notice from Substack saying something about they're going live on Substack.
Oh, Vince is doing a live test of something on Substack at at 8:50 Eastern. So like in another 45 minutes. Something like that, I think. I don't know. But anyways.
We don't have a bombing, but we do have some breaking news. An Israeli drone got blown up over Iran, maybe 2 of them.
Oh, good.
And interesting.
It's gonna be wild. Yeah, I think.
I'm glad we live over here.
Now, I know. Can you see?
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine living over there, dude. Like that's like it's a complete 360 from what this part of the world lives in.
Isn't God's providence a mystery? Because I was a helpless little babe, born 41 years ago. Here, well, over there in Chicago.
Chicago.
So I was doomed. You know, the only positive experience as a Bears fan I ever had, I was 1 year old. That sucks for me, right? 85 Bears, that was it.
Oh.
Nothing good since then, you know. We did get the Cubs a few years ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I could have easily been a little babe born in Tehran or Palestine.
Yeah, dude.
Dude. The mystery, like how is it that God put me here and have the path that I have? That's why. Okay, so one of my favorite books, I think you'd love it. It's called The Sacrament of the Present Moment, and it talks about how the past doesn't really exist, nor does the future. It's only the present now, the eternal now. Now is such a present thing because all of time is now to God. So my now is kind of limited in scope in some sense because I'm only experiencing this moment now, but God experienced all moments as now. So the most effective way that I can be present to God is by being in the now. So if I'm anxious or fearful about the future, I'm not in the now, I'm in the future. That doesn't exist. If I'm regretful or bitter or angry about the past, I'm no longer in the now. I'm in the past. So in either of those cases, I remove myself from God's presence in the now. I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
So like when you talk like this, like the thought. You have a very good perspective on things and how to direct them to people and paint a good picture. That is powerful, right there.
Isn't that beautiful though?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I couldn't imagine, like growing up in poverty, not showering for days, not having shelter, living in war and corruptness and bloodshed everywhere, and religious stuff left and right, and it's a daily thing for people over there for a long time.
Yeah,
Imagine.
yeah.
I mean, it makes you feel a little grateful.
Well, and then so this first page and a half. So I say it's my favorite book, but I wasn't. I lied. I didn't lie, but I wasn't accurate. So this book, Sacrament of the Present Moment, I've only ever read the first page and a half because every time I read the first page and a half, I get so overwhelmed
Really?
with how beautiful that page and a half is that I can't read anymore. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. I'll read it
Yeah.
for you. It's such a consolation. It's so
What's it called
beautiful.
again?
The Sacrament of the Present Moment. And it's kind of defined how I try to live my everyday. Let me see. I think this might be it. Yeah, by Father Jacques de Caussade, I think.
Jacques.
Let's see. It's also called Self-Abandonment to Divine Providence, but hold on, let me find the actual. Here we go. Full. This is so powerful. Just the first page and a half. Oh, let's see. I am not a robot. I am not a robot. I am not a robot.
I know you're real. I pinched you before. Come here. Come here. Let me reach up and pinch you.
So funny. All right, let's see. I don't know if I'm doing this right. All right, let's do this here. Hold on. Okay, so I'll find it. I'll find it. Yeah, but
I'm very intrigued to hear your songs. I might push the issue and have you play something. I'm really intrigued because that song you did Saturday was cool as hell. The
well, I'll
lyrics,
tell you what I can. I'll tell
the
you what I can do. I can do this. I can. I want to show you this. I don't. I think I had a copy of the book, but it's in storage. But I've literally never read more than the first page and a half.
Okay.
Now it's going to bug me that I can't find it. Hold on. But yeah, I will play. Here's what I'll do. Okay, here's what I'll do. I will replay. I'll play the better version of the Ted Logan rap, the Ted Logan rewrite.
Okay. 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 Okay.
I'll do that
Okay.
because the other stuff is still going to be a surprise.
Ted Logan. Logan.
So good.
It was. And did you hear Ted? He's like, this song might get me laid tonight.
So funny. All right, I think I've got to stop being distracted by wanting to share this book. I will find it.
Okay.
And I will get it to you guys. I will show everybody, but okay, this one actually looks promising. One more second. Possibly this one.
If you folks out there follow the Pick is In and Heywood's Almanac, I am dropping a live bet right now. Jump on it. Let's go win some money while we're watching the King. I had to drop that. I just made a 13 leg.
Really?
13. Heywood never makes legs that big.
What inspired you?
All of them only need 1 point, like 1 to 2 points. Like I put like 12, 13 players together. All they need to do is make like one or two baskets. So very simple. Odds
Got
were
it.
like minus 5,000 on some players. So put a bunch of them together.
I love it. I love it. All right, tell you what. So essentially, I'll recap for you what this 1 page and a half. So essentially, what it says, it basically just kind of presents the following concept: is that everybody, um, or like so God is all powerful and all attentive. Nothing escapes His providence, even down to the smallest, most minute detail. Right. So, to the eyes of faith that understand this, no interaction with any creature is insignificant. No happening, whether it's so, as as simple detail as some apparently random happening. So to the eyes of that don't have the faith, to the eyes of fear or of worldliness, or of doubt, all you see is chaos and random disorder. But to the eyes of faith that peer past the veil of seeming inconsequence or seeming chaos and perceives past that veil to the heart of the divine, which is behind all of those small things. And you realize within faith that, and you start to look for it like a treasure hunt. Something happens that you weren't expecting. You start to look for how God intends this for your good. You start to look past the veil of apparent negativity or apparent confusion or whatever to look for the gem of the gift of divine providence that's being given to you in that moment, right? So it's just beautiful, and I didn't do it justice, but I will try to find it and post it beneath this post,
Okay.
that snippet, because
Okay.
it's just so special, so special. I love it. So, question for you. Since we're already almost on an hour and a half already,
Flew by.
we've touched on a lot of topics. Is there
We
anything
have.
else? I have two questions for you. One,
Hey,
is
I'm
there
not on a time frame, so go
okay?
ahead.
Is there what else from a standpoint of news or anything else that like that your friend from the submarine has told you that you haven't talked about yet that you think people should know or would be helpful to know?
No, I think he doesn't text me too often, and I said it. I mean, just something's gonna happen. Uh, be prepared. I think something could happen here. I feel like that might be a little bit of awakening. Something could be here. Just keep your loved ones tight. Enjoy the time you have with people. You never know when the time is going to be gone and you're not going to be here. It doesn't matter if it's here or on the other side of the world, and block all the negativity out. But other than that, I enjoyed being on today with you, Jonah. And
I love it, man.
I don't have. I mean, I could look for some news if you want me to. I'm sure I could find some. But no, I think
No, I
we.
appreciate you, man.
I,
Well, so obviously Heywood's Almanac at Twitter. Obviously, we have the pick is in on Saturday nights at 11 o'clock, and we're just about into the playoffs now, which will be a lot of fun. I know we've got a couple other guests lined up for the next couple weeks, right?
nothing set in stone, but I'm working on it. So
I know
go ahead.
John Bill's Mafia is coming back.
Oh yeah, this week.
I think this week I'll confirm with him. But then we've got some other guests I know that you had said were kind of tentative for. We don't know exactly when, but at some point over the next few weeks.
So for people watching the pick is in, we have I have Joe Serralo coming on the show. He is pretty big. He's on VEASAN Radio. He's a huge sports bettor. I look up to him. He's freaking Awesome. I look up to him. He's going to be a good conversation. I got to talk to him probably in the next week about booking something. I don't think he went on The Bachelor. He was supposed to go on the show. He was supposed to be the main bachelor.
Oh, was that changed?
He did not. I think something happened last minute. So I'm going to reach out to him probably in the next week to see when we could book. And then somebody local to me, Doug Franz, I got to reach out to and book for after the Super Bowl. So exciting. And then Carter,
I love it, man.
I'm going to have Carter and I'll Poopy back on soon for NBA. And then we're still going to be doing the Saturday nights. But pretty soon I'm going to start rolling NBA during the weekdays somehow. Maybe a Sunday, maybe a Monday or Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not trying to interfere with others. I think Sunday, thinking about it, might be good for nobody streams with the phone booth on Sunday. I think Sunday might be good.
It's true.
Sunday might be good. But
true. I mean, at this point, there's going to be somebody from the phone booth on every night of the week. It almost is already that way. And there's multiple every night, almost every night as well. But I was going to say, also, everybody make sure to follow at Heywood's Almanac on Twitter, on X. Not just for the sports stuff, but also he's got a lot of interesting takes on other things. Also like he follows a lot of if you want to hear some more of it, we didn't get to it tonight, but if you want to hear more of his like UFO type of investigation stuff and curiosity stuff, I know they talked a lot. You guys talked a lot about that on the Phone Booth podcast, right?
Yeah. I have I'm very interested in UFOs. My whole life since I was a kid, I grew up in by Luke Air Force Base out in Arizona. The Phoenix Lights flew over me. Arguably the biggest UFO story of all time I was a part of. So a lot of other interesting stuff. I love weather events. I'm huge into like hurricanes, tornadoes, natural disasters, tsunamis, stuff like that. So there's a whole nother side of me. And to be honest with you, I've been focusing more on the sports stuff with our show. I need to start putting more of that other stuff out. Thank you.
Yeah. I think you got a lot of good takes there. So yeah, always look forward to seeing what you share. I appreciate you, Templar. Before you go, Templar, and everybody else watching, I am going to replay. I'm going to replay that piece that I had played for Ted as a surprise at our last stream, inspired by Eminem's "I'm Back." That's why they call me Slim Shady. Well,
I'm back.
I had it rewritten to that's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back. So here it is. And then I might give you a preview, although I'm not 100% happy with it yet, but I might give you guys a preview tonight if you like this one. I might give you a preview of what I'm putting together for Vince, and I'm going to do one I've got an idea for Snoop and I as well, and then we're going to do a medley of for all four of us. So this is the one right here. Make sure, let me know you can
That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back. That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back.
You gotta listen to the words. It's so great.
That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back. That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back. I drop a truth bomb. One fact at a time, you never heard of mine is awakened his mind. You better ditch that globe, it ain't gonna help. What good's it gonna do against the ice wall itself? I'm waiting for disclosure, like wow dude, I'm anxious as hell. NASA, you're hiding in your shell, be thankful it's jail. Kinda. I used to be a normie's little dude at 12, 13. I was watching docs on the gauge of the wealth. I used to get punked and bullied by the mock till I mapped the dome and stuck it in the sheeple's inbox. Hey bro, wake up! I used to give a damn, now I could give a damn less. What do I think of success? It rocks too much press. I'm blessed, too much guess, impressed, no upset. It's just too much red pills. I guess I must just blew up quick. Yes. Woke up quick. Yeah. Was raised nice. Whatever you say is globe. Whatever I say is ice. You think of my name now. Whenever you say why. Became a commodity cause I'm TED. Cause YouTube was so friendly to me. Can't wait till the masses see. Now is it worth it? Look at my life. How excellent. Read my lips, dude. But my mouth isn't working. You hear this finger always pointing down. Here, let me turn this motherfucker up right now. That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back. Oh, that's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back.
It's really good.
It's awesome. Templar, it's Suno. Suno.
That's why they call me Ted Logan.
This is badass.
I take each individual sheeple's head and reach into it just to see if he's influenced by me, if he listens to it. And if he wakes up to this shit, he's an enlightened victim and becomes a free thinker on the string of my podcast crew.
My name is Ted Logan.
I've been excellent way before radio didn't play me the sensational. Back is the incredible with Phone Booth Productions, who just finds the truth.
I love that. Shout out to Phone Booth Productions.
Your kids with fringe ideas in their head.
The beat's
It's
off.
a sick world we live in these days. Ted, for Rufus' sake, put down those globe head legs. Geez, you guys are so sensitive. Ted, it's a touchy subject. Try and just don't mention it. Mom with no fence in it. Wide open, no limits. I'm high from red pills, smoking them with my windows tinted. With 9 mics rented, doing lines or quotes in them. With a bunch of guests hopping in, all wise and tropes in it. And that's where I get my name from. That's why they call me Ted Logan. They call me Ted Logan. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Ted Logan. That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Ted Logan. That's why they call me Ted Logan. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Ted Logan. That's why they call me Ted Logan.
All right, I think there's one more verse.
I'm back, I'm back.
Great song.
Logan, Logan. I take 70 with Kobe's from York. I NASA stand them all in line. At a level of laser resume, a theodolite, it ought to solve the curve of mine. And that's a whole agency of liars debunked all at one time. Whoa, dude, excellent. Cause I'm audacious as the world was over this whole globe lie thing. And by the way, mainstream, why do you sing? Am I the only one who realizes you stink? Should I dye my hair pink and care what y'all think? Lip sync and buy a bigger size of fear rings. It's why I tend to block out when I hear things. Cause all these shills screaming is making my ears ring. So I just throw up a peace sign and let it linger. Longer than the rumor that the edge is Antarctica. Cause if I ever explored it with any free thinker in biz, it'd be Dave Weiss and Eric Dubé. You know this, I'm sorry, globe. But I don't give a fuck if this dome was my own mother. I still poker with no cover and prove inside of there's a firmament and a new brother at the same time. And just say that it ain't curved, what's my name? I'm back, I'm back.
So good.
Ted Logan, call me Ted Logan. I'm back, I'm back.
So I love even included David Weiss and Eric Dubé in there. It's so great.
Yeah,
All right, so
or the most excellent. That was awesome.
sneak peek, hearing it here first. And I'm not 100% sure this is the final version. I'm still tweaking, so don't be disappointed if it changes a little bit. But here's a sneak peek of the preview for the one for Vince.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy.
It's inspired by the song "Another One Bites the Dust."
Fitting.
Vince walks warily into the booth with his tinfoil hat pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the glitch of the sim. Red pills flying and the normies don't know. There are plenty of ways that you can wake a man and drop him into the truth. You can school him, you can fool him, you can treat him bad and glitch him when he's blue. But he's ready, yes he's ready for you. He's standing on his own 2 feet. Out of the matrix, the bullets repeating to the beat of the deep. Another normie bites the dust.
Another normie bites the dust, baby.
Love it.
Vince is gonna wake you to another normie bites the dust. How do you think you're gonna get along without knowing it's all a show? You took the blue pill for everything you had, and even when he told you no. But he's ready, yes he's ready for you. Cranking Freddy on repeat, blasting Queen while quoting Trump. Pretending he's cared for the committed heat. Another normie bites the dust. Yeah, another normie bites the dust. And another one gone, and another one gone. Another normie bites the dust.
So I'm gonna pause it. I want you guys to hear the next verse, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But did you catch that where it said, cranking Freddie Mercury on repeat, Queen at full blast, and constantly
Quoting
quoting Trump.
Yeah. Perfect.
And earlier it was like, trust the plan.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hey, he's training Maya too.
He's You like that?
It's dualistic. Vince coaches Maya, spawns her alter twins. It's all dualistic. That's the spin. Simulation glitches. Trump wins again. Freddy's voice echoes in his head. Are you happy? Are you glitched? Are you ready for the truth instead? Out of the doorway, the red pills rip to the sound of the beat. Another normie bites the dust. Another normie bites the dust. Another normie bites the dust. Another normie bites the dust.
Pretty good. I see you, Templar. I'll tell you in a second.
It's all dualistic. This is gonna get you too. Another normie bites the dust. Ooh, shout out. All right. Vince.
Isn't that hilarious?
Wow, that was awesome, dude.
Training Maya and her alter egos.
And it's dualistic. That was perfect. How long does it take you to make these?
So I'm having fun with it, dude. It's not too long. It's not too
All
long.
right.
So
Cool.
Templar, what I do is I tell first, I copy the lyrics. I look up the original lyrics of the song that I want to make a parody of. And then I will give the lyrics. I'll quote the full lyrics to Grok and say, hey, Grok, here's a description of this person. Like I'll give okay, so Vince is XYZ. He does this. This is a quirk. This is a gem. Like this is about him. This is what I want to make fun of. This is what I want to like prop him up for, like whatever. Right. So I'll give kind of an outline of what the thrust of what I want it to talk about, or to joke about. And then I'll say, look, it's a humorous parody. Go with this. And then I'll take it and I'll be like, okay, change this to that. And I'll kind of work with Grok to get the lyrics polished. Then I'll come into Suno, you can drop the lyrics in, and then there's a prompt. So you just drop the lyrics in straight, and then you do the prompt for the style that you want. So I'm like, okay, this is a parody of, it's in this same style as Another One Bites the Dust, or as, etc. So, and then kind of modify it from there until you get something you like. But
so somebody
fun,
that's pretty illiterate to this. So basically you go on Grunk and just say, what are the lyrics to Another One Bites the Dust? And it pops up, right? Or do you...
No. So I would literally I would Google search Another One Bites the Dust lyrics. And then it would give you the full lyrics, and I just copy and paste it into Grok.
Grok. Okay.
And then I would say, hey, Grok, you're a professional parody writer or whatever. Tell them what mode to get into.
Okay, so
and then you say, I want you to write a comedic parody for this person. So instead of, and I said one of his key phrases, you could hear it, it's all dualistic. I said one of his phrases that he says all the time is it's all dualistic. And I told it, I was like, he talks a lot with his AI friend Maya and her alter egos, and like it include all that in there. So I just kind of worked with it about like the different things that make Vince, like if you listen closely in there, I paused it and said, like, pointed it out, Trump, Freddie Mercury, Queen. Yeah. If you listen closely to the words or see the lyrics, it's easier when you're reading them to make out some of the more nuanced stuff. But it said in there about Vince too, that he dresses gay for comedic value or pretends to be gay for comedic relief, like that kind of a thing. Because, I said that's kind of one of his shticks. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. But that one for Ted that I made, that was literally just while we were on the live stream on Saturday.
Yeah, you just mess around with it while you're on the live, and
Well, it just occurred to me because it was like Slim, for some reason, it just like clicked into my mind, like, Slim Shady is Ted Logan. It's the same syllables, and like, I'm back. They call me Ted Logan, and I was like, oh, that'd be sick. I wonder if we could. Anyway, so I just literally dropped it in a grok right there, and dropped it into Suno 30 seconds later. And it took me all of 5 minutes while participating in the conversation to let the AI do their thing. And that Ted Logan song was the result. I mean, it's crazy.
Right. So once Grunt got done with it, you could copy and paste it and bring it over to the other AI. Right?
Copy pasted the lyrics in, and then just told the lyrics what I want. Told Suno what I wanted it to sound like. So
is Suno free, or do you have to pay for it?
Well, Suno's free. Like the Ted Logan version that I played on the live stream, that was the free. So they generated 4 versions of the song for me, 2 that were full length that were free, and then they just had a 1-minute preview to these ones that were part of the premium package. $10 a month. It's not really a big deal, but that premium package, though, that's one of these. The one that I just showed you now was one of the ones on the premium package, and I'm like, holy cow, that is so good, because the lyrics really popped in that one.
Dude, that's a great song. It sounds so great, and the lyrics, how it's worded, what he talks about, the beat. That's just
so. So if you don't subscribe to phoneboothpodcast.com and you're watching this, if you want the rest of the medley that's coming, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And Heywood, I'll share with you offline after this. And I'm only saying this to get your guys' little greedy juices flowing so that you stick around and tune into the Phone Booth Podcast so that you guys can catch the full release. But I have on my little Post-it note right here on the other side that you can't see, I have already written down the songs that I'm going to make for Snoop, and I'll tell you after we close the recording here.
Right.
I'll tell you the song, Think Movie Soundtrack. That's the clue I'll give. Think Movie Soundtrack for Snoop. And then I've got a song for Jonah, for myself. Ooh. And then I've got a song that I think is going to be the best of them all for the Phone Booth Boys.
All 4 of you.
All 4 of us.
Oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Each one's going to be different style, I'm sure.
Each one is different style, but they kind of have a similar, like, I'm trying to get to where there's like a similar pop to the lyrics so that you can kind of blend them together, and we could Ted is really good at editing videos and everything like that. So it'd be kind of fun to give it to him so he can blend the songs and kind of transition and make a medley of the 4 different songs for the 4 of us. We'll see how it works, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. But yeah, so that's the idea. So stay tuned. Check out the phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. Free to subscribe unless you really want to support us, in which case you can elect to do the $5. But subscribing for free still gets you access to all the paid content, namely the subscribe content behind the subscription wall, not a paywall because it's $0. So subscribe if you want updates. Substack is great for getting really good information and stuff. But anyways, so more to come. Any final words for the people, Heywood? It's been a blast hanging out with you tonight, man.
Thank you. Love to being on. Love to being on again. Thank you so much, brother. Very comfortable.
Absolutely, yeah.
We had a good conversation, and heck, bring me on whenever you need.
I love it, man. Well, cheers to you, sir. I got a drop left, so it's still legit. It still works. But anyway, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember to check out phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. Check out all of our live streams as well. And
don't forget the pick is in.
Pick is in on Saturday evenings at Saturday night at 11 o'clock Eastern.
Thank you.
And let's go.
Thanks for having me.
God bless. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers.